Welcome to Red-tastic. Story 1. I'm a 29-year-old mom to a 5-month-old baby. About 3 months ago, my mom wanted to move in with me, saying she wanted to bond with her grandchild. For a bit of backstory, my mom and I haven't always had the best relationship for as long as I can remember. The main reason for this was she was involved with various shady men from time to time. And sadly, she moved quickly and always brought them home after the first few dates. They were the type that shouldn't be within 100 feet of a child or teen. My mom was either too oblivious to the predatory looks or moves they made on me, or she simply didn't care. I had to learn to defend myself from a very young age, had to dress in oversized hoodies, baggy pants to hide my body, etc. It wasn't a pleasant way to live, and I left home as soon as I hit 18. For the past 10 years, we have had limited contact, and it has been peaceful. Anyway, on to the story. I allowed her to move in because I thought she was finally ready to repair our relationship, and I figured she would help around the house or with the baby. I hate to admit this, but I really wanted a break from my baby. Well, she moved in and things almost immediately went downhill. My mom would sleep in past noon, make a mess trying to fix herself a meal, never for me or the baby, and not clean up after herself. It meant I ended up having to clean up after her. She also rarely spends any time with my baby, not even long enough so I could have a shower in peace. She also kept going through my utilities at an alarming rate, and my husband was suddenly spending a huge chunk of his paycheck on groceries. She would also purposely leave lights on all around the house, keep AC on at all times, and other things which racked up our bills so much. So I asked her to chip in for bills, but she refused, even though she has $37,000 in her bank account. Yesterday, I reached my breaking point when I saw the huge mess she left after making a casserole for herself using my utilities. I sat her down and told her calmly that she needs to clean up after herself. She blew up at me saying she was a guest and it was my job to clean. She berated me saying I don't deserve a child. My house is a pigsty because I don't clean properly, and if I didn't clean up the way I should, she would call CPS. This situation had already been so stressful to me, and hearing her say those words absolutely broke me. I've been crying ever since. It's been hard because I'm struggling with postpartum depression as well, and my husband has been working double shifts since our baby was born because my job doesn't have paid maternity leave. Right now, I'm pretty much locked in my room with my baby. My husband won't be home until tonight. Am I the a-hole for asking my mom to clean up after herself? What should I do? Update. Today, when my husband came home after his 48-hour shift, he found me holed up in my baby's nursery crying and looking like a disheveled mess. When I told him what happened, he was absolutely furious. He was never fond of the idea of mom moving in anyway. He blew up at my mom and told her she needed to be gone by the next day or things will not be pleasant. It was a huge relief to me that he was finally home and was handling this mess for me. It's been super draining and my sleep-deprived brain is struggling to process everything. I called my aunt in the evening because I needed answers. And it turns out my mom is getting divorced for the 3rd time. Her husband has kicked her out of the house, and that's why she wanted to move in with me, not because she wanted a bond with her grandchild as she claimed. I'm not surprised if I'm going to be honest. This is exactly the type of despicable stunts she pulls. All this time she's been using me for free lodgings and maid service. I'm not crying anymore and I want her out ASAP. I am a bit apprehensive at what stunt she might pull tomorrow when it's time for her to leave. I've asked my husband to take a half day off because I doubt she will leave if it's only me. Thanks to everyone for the support and advice. I'm hoping things will go smoothly tomorrow. I will keep you posted if there are any more developments. Update 2. The shit has hit the fan. I freaking hate my life at the moment. The morning after my husband told my mom to leave, I asked her to be out by noon. By noon, she was still sulking around the house. I threatened to call the cops and she sneered, saying I would be the one in jail at the end of the day. I should have taken her words more seriously. By 2 p.m., my husband came home after taking half a day off work and was pissed she still wasn't gone. He threatened to call the cops, but my mom just laughed. It seemed like she was waiting for something or someone. My husband and mom started arguing, and my mom was saying such nasty things about me, how I was a hoe in high school, etc. All because I had a boyfriend in high school and went to prom with him when my mom wanted me to skip prom. Suddenly, there was a knock on my door. Long story short, we opened the door to find CPS and about 3 cops standing outside. One of the officers handed me a warrant and told me they were searching the house for drugs. I was horrified and said they got the wrong house. But my mom pointed them to a storage closet and said that was where we stored our weed. Sure enough, the cops found 2 packs of weed. Mom also went off to the officers of how deranged I am that I smoke weed at least 3 times a day when I'm a breastfeeding mom, etc. My husband told her off and explained to them our situation with mom and how we had no clue of the weed, that she must have planted them here to get back at us. Weed is a Class B in our state, and us having a baby in the house worsened the situation all the more. Police took us all 3 down to the station for questioning. It was the most horrifying situation in my life. My husband and I got our lawyers and we were able to return home, but we're still under investigation, especially since CPS is involved as well. Our lawyer said there likely won't be a charge since the state doesn't take weed seriously, but I'm still worried and beyond pissed at mom. What sort of a mother would do such a thing to their child? Good thing is that mom is still at the station since we didn't get her a lawyer. She's still waiting for her pro bono. I'm packing her stuff and won't let her in when she gets back. I'm so frustrated. I wish I never let this snake back into my life and into my house. Final update. After my husband and I got back from dealing with the police, my mom came back to the house, but I didn't let her in. Instead, I threw her stuff out on the lawn. She tried to push past me, but my husband blocked her way in and wouldn't let her in. She eventually left, cussing me out the entire way. The weed situation was resolved in hush-hush. No charges and nothing on our records. I think our lawyer pulled some strings or threw my mom under the bus, which I don't mind at all. It was as if it never happened. Our lawyer informed us that the police dug out that my mom's husband is a suspected leader, which is how they suspect she got the weed. Apparently, they suspect that she might be involved in dealing as well, like learning a thing or two from her ex. And they've opened an investigation on her. Good. I hope she goes to jail for life. I'm so sorry this happened to you, OP. Your mother sounds like a nightmare. And I'm glad you were able to get rid of her. She doesn't care about you or your well-being at all. She didn't in the past and she still doesn't now. I'm sorry you have such a bad mom. She shouldn't be called a mother. You wanted to give her another chance and she blew it. I'm so glad your husband was able to support you and help you during this time because I honestly don't think you would have been able to do it all on your own. You just gave birth. You didn't need any of this. Don't ever let your mother come anywhere near you or your family again. Say goodbye to her and don't look back. Story 2. I, 17 male, have 2 sisters, Alice 29 and Miranda 33. I'm much closer to Alice than I'm to Miranda. Miranda is also not on good terms with our parents. Alice has 4 kids and is currently expecting child number 5, while Miranda can't have children, which her ex divorced her for. Miranda is very successful in life. She has a nice apartment, works a good job, and earns a decent amount of money. Alice, on the other hand, is struggling financially. She had her first kid right out of high school and got pregnant with a second child soon after. So she decided to be a stay-at-home mom to her children while her boyfriend provides for them. Me and my parents try to help out as much as possible, be it childcare or money, whatever she needs. I love my nieces and nephews. I take them to the park and play with the older ones. I really enjoy it. Miranda doesn't help out with them, she says, because she's too busy. Well, she works long hours, but she doesn't have kids, so I don't know what she does on weekends. She also doesn't help out financially, which I find unfair since she makes so much money, and all she does is spend it on herself. Although she does give us very nice gifts for Christmas and birthdays. My parents nag her about it, saying she should give some of her money to Alice monthly, and I agree with that. So here comes the part where I may have been an a-hole. I was at Miranda's place last week as she baked muffins and invited me over to eat some and catch up. We got on the topic of Christmas presents and I told her some of the stuff I wanted. She nodded and said she would give our parents a coupon for a much-needed vacation and Alice some clothes she had mentioned, and also some new boots and jackets for her kids. I was a little stunned she didn't have more for Alice, so I asked, "Why do you only get Alice the bare minimum? You can afford to help out more, and you refuse to out of spite." Miranda looked at me and laughed. She said it wasn't her business to feed 6 people, that Alice was old enough to make her choices and live with the consequences. She knew what she was getting herself into and that she wouldn't pay Alice's way through life just because she kept having children she couldn't afford. I was stunned at how cold she reacted. I asked her how she could live her life being so selfish and uncaring. And she got angry and told me, "Listen here, kid. There are some things you are way too young for to be discussing with me, and this is one of those. Drop the subject or get out." I got really frustrated with her and said something I probably shouldn't have. I told her, "No wonder your husband divorced you. Even if you could have children, you would be a terrible mother." Miranda got very quiet and told me to leave and never come back. She has now blocked me on everything. And though I don't agree with her on not helping out, I'm starting to feel guilty for what I said. So am I the a-hole? Update. So it's been a while, and I know I haven't answered any comments because I was too ashamed, and I still am. When my parents and sister found out what I said to Miranda, they were absolutely furious. Alice shouted at me so long my ears were ringing. She looked like she was about to rip my head off. You were right. My sisters had a whole life before I came along and I was too immature to understand the dynamics between them. When I look at my post, I am disgusted about my tone and what I assumed was the truth. Because not only was I an absolute a-hole, I was also terribly wrong about a lot of things. Alice never asked for money nor childcare. My parents did that willingly, and as I was raised alongside them, they felt more like siblings to me, so I didn't mind. My family also never painted Miranda as the big villain. That was all just me. Because she was already grown and out of the house most of the time when I was little, I just didn't have a deeper connection with her. Maybe I was resentful that she was never there. I can't tell. My parents also didn't really pester Miranda that she should give money to Alice. They only asked her to chip in for bigger presents, which she always did. I was blinded by my love and concern for Alice that I vilified Miranda. I apologized 100 times to Miranda. I wrote her letters, tried calling, went to her apartment, but she wouldn't see me or answer my letters, and she is in her right to do so. I hurt her deeply and she doesn't owe me forgiveness, but the reason I made this update in the first place is some, hopefully, good news for you. Miranda has since moved away with her ex. I don't have the whole picture, but they are still very much in love. When his family found out Miranda was infertile, they pestered them to no end, and their marriage didn't withstand that. It was really horrible, which I never knew. My parents said Miranda didn't want me to know the truth, but now that they are in another country, I hope they can be happy again. Also, please don't hate on Alice. She's a wonderful person and a very good mother to all of her kids. Her third pregnancy were twins, which they didn't expect, and her boyfriend had a vasectomy, but they ended up pregnant regardless with baby number 5, which had been born in the meantime. Her boyfriend has also got a promotion at work and they can now live more comfortably. I know I'm in the wrong and that I have a lot of growing to do. I deserve everything you said in the comments. Maybe one day I can have a relationship with Miranda again, but on her terms. If you want to know anything else, let me know. I promise to answer as many comments as I can. It seems you're genuinely sorry and you realize how awful you were with Miranda, OP. I like it when people see the wrongs in their words and apologize for it. It will probably take a while before Miranda forgives you because of how badly your comment must have hurt her. But I'm glad you were wrong and she actually does have a love life and hopefully a great life ahead with her ex. I wish them well, and I wish your other sister well too. I would advise you to learn from this and be very cautious with your words next time.